Yes, y'all. Welcome day 3 of Potomania 5 with your boys, the Dumb Marks podcast, your favorite Sunday brunch bunch, back at it again to break down everything that was one of WrestleMania, getting into reactions, recap. We got a special run-in down there in the bottom right-hand corner. Mars from down in the den joining us today. What up, Mars? What up, Mars?
Oh, what's up, brothers? What's up, brothers, man? Happy to be back. Did you guys enjoy night one? We're going to get into it, so I'm excited.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
I thought the bear was AI.
It's real, unfortunately. My girlfriend tricked me. I think she wanted me to be less attractive to other people. I've never seen your cheek before. You should shave it off. And I was like, oh, okay. Instant regret. So now I'm trying to grow.
Yup. It seems like you lost your power, like Samus with his hair. You lost all the power.
The guy in the Bible, I wish I was a little bit more knowledgeable.
Yep.
Just like Ciampa yesterday, had to shave it all off.
I feel just like Ciampa Manus the Stitches. It was I went back to work and I said, yeah, her mission was accomplished. I realized I was like, I'm kind of ugly. I did not kind of ugly over here.
Nothing more humbling than shaving the beard off to get a true reaction.
To a -3. I was like, ugh.
What's the girlfriend think, since that's what she wanted?
Oh, she loved it, but once again, I think that's more for like, hey, nobody's gonna now. I became a lot more fortunate. My attitude went from "girl, I don't chase them, I replace them" to "hey, I just want to let you know you're the bestest thing that's ever happened to me. Please don't leave me."
Squeeze, I'm here, okay? I'm here. It's Potomania Day 3, baby. Yeeting all over the place. We was yeeting last night, yeeting this morning.
He's been eating for like 12 hours now.
Man, I should have rooted for Gunther. Nothing wrong with that shirt.
I was saving. I wore all gas, no brakes yesterday for Mr. Jacob Fatu, the United States champion. But I had this one tucked in the bag because I knew main event Jey Uso was going to come through and be your new world heavyweight champion. So I had to break out the yeet this morning. Don't know if it's the best shirt to wear on Easter Sunday, but church. If I roll into church with the yeet shirt, it's gonna be bad news. My grandmother's gonna roll over her grave and strike me down from the heavens above, especially on this day. So we're here, Cena. Listen, we're gonna get into everything that is night 2 coming up here. Plus, all breakdown reactions. I'm sure we got a few fan theories as far as what may go on. I've been deep in Donald's MCU version of the Rollins turn with Heyman, so we got a lot to go as far as that plays out. But like Mars said, let's jump into night 1 reactions. Just overall, what were your guys' initial just overall opinions of night 1? Saw a lot of discourse about this online afterwards last night and as well this morning, and got an interesting question if nobody brings up a take to pose to the panel here. So let's just go around the horn here. Jay, what were your initial reactions as far as night 1 from an overall show standpoint?
Overall, solid. It wasn't great, wasn't bad. Just solid to me. Kind of lengthy, us in pay-per-views. Your boy tapped out a couple times.
Yes, you had a few drinks in you too. You was a little loosey-goosey, warmed up with the drinks in that regard. So yeah, I mean, we've seen 7-hour WrestleMania, so to go 4.5, right? 4.5 was the usual WrestleMania run back in the day, right? That 4-hour mark. 7 to 11. So back to old school Mania times as far as that goes. Mars, what you got as far as initial reaction to night 1?
So overall, I wasn't too troubled with the, Triple H under his era. He's pretty consistent on the time length for the pay-per-view, or I'm sorry, PLEs. Overall, I felt the crowd was kind of dead, and maybe that's just the Las Vegas thing, and I think that contributed. I'm used to WrestleMania where have people coming from 40 countries and all 50 states, and they're excited to be there, and the crowd felt really dead to me. Overall, though, I think the main event saved the night for me. I have some thoughts about how she should be arrested for just Tiffany Stratton to smithereens. And I was happy for Jay. He added 3 more moves. So, I'm happy for him. But overall, solid night, not too high, not too low. I think it was a good night, and I think night 2 is going to be even better.
Tiffany did post on her Instagram that she, with a smile, saying she does have all her teeth. So I don't know what made her mouth look like that. Pause.
Yeah.
But she did post that she had all her teeth in that regard. So don't worry, Jay. One of your blonde bombshells is still a blonde bombshell in that regard.
She got that overnight work. That's what that was.
She went to a doctor because he had some bright new chompers as well.
Yeah.
Chris, your overall vibes after night 1.
Definitely agree with what Marz had said. I felt like it was like kind of outside of Jay winning to kick off the night, and the crowd was hot for that. I felt like a lot of the momentum slowed down, crowd including the matches. It was a slow start, and that I definitely feel the main event saved. You know me, I'm not a fan of the 2-night WrestleMania, so this was one of those things that just proved to me why it shouldn't be a 2-night WrestleMania. But I enjoyed the main event very much.
Donald?
The main event saved the night. All the matches were good, but just the endings on the matches were like slow or like timed out wrong or something like that. Like there was something about the endings that like really like dragged down those matches. But overall, okay start. Main event saved it a lot.
So I mean, you guys were given a lot of the same sentiments that were online, after the show ended last night as well as this morning. But I saw a lot of people saying WrestleMania now, this is, first full year, I guess, right? A year and a half, 2 years under the TKO brand. But the vibe from WrestleMania is just like every other UFC, where it's not a big deal anymore. It's just a pay-per-view on the calendar in a spot scheduled for a monthly event. It didn't come across as the spectacle that we know as WrestleMania to be.
Okay.
That could be true, but it also could play into, Chris, your point, night 1 and night 2. Do you have people that are burned out from WrestleMania week, attending all the indies, starting at NXT at 9 a.m. in the morning, then going all the way till 9 o'clock at night for Mania ending? Like, I don't know. I haven't really gotten that vibe before watching PLEs that is the UFC equivalent as far as TKO shows go. I think, to Marz's point, what hurt this one, stadium shows always hurt because you don't get the noise, right? And when you do, it's not picked up as much through TV as it is in the arena. We know that watching football games, there's just certain arenas and certain stadiums that you can't hear the crowd as much based on the stadium itself. I don't watch enough Las Vegas Raiders to know whether or not that's the case in LA or in Vegas as far as fans in that stadium, how it comes across noise-wise. But I definitely feel we've been spoiled, especially with the run up to Mania, with these European crowds and how hot they are and how energetic they are from start to finish, and the chanting and the sing-alongs and everything else. We got that in pockets last night, but it wasn't consistent throughout. And when you look at some of those European PLEs, you're consistent from opening bell to main event end bell. They're nonstop. So that definitely came across on TV as, oh, I need a London WrestleMania. I need a France WrestleMania. I need a Germany WrestleMania. Like, I think that may come down the line here. But yeah, it definitely did not come across as the rowdiest of WrestleMania crowds per se.
And we said the same thing about NXT yesterday.
And
DJ was live there. Shout out to DJ. An avid listener to the show, but he said that the crowd inside the arena was louder than what it came across as on TV. So I don't know. Like I said, it's awful hard to judge sometimes, especially with the large stadium shows.
And I'm not sure if this is true too, but like the pricing of how WrestleMania is keeping a lot of like the hardcore fans away. You know, like the true fans away.
Yeah, I mean, nosebleeds were $450.
Yeah.
Just for the highest of highs, where you needed 10x binoculars to see the ring, was $450 just to get in. So, yeah.
For decent seats, it's almost like the Super Bowl now. Not quite to that level, but you're talking thousands of dollars for one person, and you're talking about travel, food, everything that's going to be. I have several family members and close friends that live in Las Vegas, so I intended to go to this WrestleMania, and when I checked, as soon as the tickets came available, I'm online, and when I saw the prices, I was like, my home is wonderful.
Same here. We did the same thing.
Best view in the house.
Yeah,
they were showing videos of the crowd afterwards waiting in the rideshare area to get picked up, and there looked to be about 30,000 people waiting for rideshares. So, like,
we know what that was like.
Yeah, I would not want to do that, because Allegiant's not in an area that's like,
it's in the hood.
Depending where you're at in the strip, it's not a walkable area in Vegas. Like,
it's in the hood. If I went there last year with my best friend, and we're walking around, and he's showing me the stadium, beautiful stadium, but literally one block over, it's like fentanyl heads leaning on.
Yeah. So
welcome to Vegas.
Look, if I said this before we got on live, if I would have went to Vegas, I'm doing some of the other things, and then I'm going to Sapphires and watching it in the strip club last night. Like, I'm hitting those types of parties up with Mania on in the background, and it probably would have been, I would have made it rain and yeeted because of Jey Uso winning in a different way. But yes, like that's what I would have done.
Dance.
Yeah, I wouldn't have paid to go into Vegas. Like Squeeze just said, he paid $1,000 last year for Philly. Like, even that is like, but your first floor, almost ground level, not floor level, but that to me is okay. If you're going to do it to say that you went to WrestleMania, then yeah, I could see that, like, once in a lifetime deal.
I think the most we spent was, and we were in like 100 level for 35, and that was only like 250, I think. Like,
yeah, but you're talking almost 10 years ago. So you add in
6,
inflation, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a big jump, though.
I'm also adding that stadium.
Look at eggs over the last 3 years, right? Big jump. I mean,
stadium, because Vegas Stadium is newer than MetLife.
All right, we're not going to touch on all the matches from last night. We gave our predictions, and a lot of those came true. I especially love the New Day winning the belts and running up the ramp, not giving any type of reaction, like I said on the show yesterday. So kudos to them. Donald nailed it with the Seth Paul Heyman team up. We got the turn. We'll touch on that before we dive into the predictions. But the 3 matches that I want to highlight, well, 4 technically. Let's get into Jay Gunther. Let's talk about Jacob in LA, Charlotte Tiffany, and then the main event before we get into predictions. So, not to throw shade on any of the other matches, but we're not going to spend 3 hours breaking down night 1. And these, to me, were some of the more pivotal moments throughout the night.
Squeeze had
Jay
a comment on the
Gunther
opening. So he felt like
this was a lot, right? Donald and Jason immediately started throwing shit and just upset because Gunther tapped out. However, and Gunther's done this before. And Donald, you said there's a difference between Ilya Dragunov tapping you out versus Jey Uso tapping you out. But he tapped quick when Ilya put the submission on him before. And I know Gunther's the ring general, and he's calm, cool, collected, and owns the space. But every man has their kryptonite, and submission moves tend to be Gunther's kryptonite just based off of the losses in history, looking at him.
That's
where he's going to tap right away. So outside of the finish with the tap, and you guys can give your comments as far as what you feel on that. But outside of the finish, did they make the right call putting the belt on Jey Uso and starting the Yeet era in WWE? Chris?
To be determined to me. We'll see how this plays out. To me, I agree much of what Donald said, where Jey is very much an entrance. So you got the crowd reaction, and which is what they wanted. Cool. Yeah, you had the celebration, but let's see what he can actually do in the future to see if it was worth it.
Donald?
I have to eat crow because of my take yesterday. I wanted a 10-second squash match before it. I will give Jey his credit. Like with Chris, I want to see what he does with the belt. Hopefully he's not an entrance like Trick Williams.
Bars.
2 words: transitional champion. You have to put the belt on Jey. You can't have that build up without getting the reaction of the fans and everything. It's fine. I hope he does well. At the end of the day, Jay's almost 40 years old. He's been in the industry for going on 2
years.
He's not the young whippersnapper that it seems. He's got this new level of popularity. But I don't think he's going to hold on to the belt long. I don't know if Gunther's going to regain it. It might be Monday night when he regains it. Or I could see Gunther moving on to, Cody or Cena or something, moving on over in the draft because he's done all that he can do on Raw. But ultimately, I think it was the right move. You have to make that move. Gunther is the perfect villain to build up. We saw it last year with Sami Zayn. You build him up, you give him the run. He looks undefeatable, and he loses. But honestly, for me, and I'm a big fan of Jey, I do feel he's just an entrance. In between the ropes, is something missing. I don't know if it's a little bit of sloppiness. It's just something missing for me. And then his promos, there's something missing for me. Jimmy is far better on the promo and far natural. So with those 2 elements, I can't see him being a Cody Rhodes that can open up Raw and give you a 15-minute monologue. It's going to sound rough. And, looking at the after show, it looked like he had a few more libations. That scares me too. So,
not the first time in the press conference for him.
Yeah, him and Cody came out
Yeah.
In that regards. But Jay, what do you got?
For me, the tap was too fast. You could have. I hate submission endings altogether. Like if you wanted to, you're serving the fans, give them the 3 count. That'd have got the bigger pop. But like Marz says, I see Jey Uso as a transitional champ. Give me to the next PLE.
I mean, it's the Baskin Robbins thing, right? Everyone's not meant to have a long title run. You're okay. You're going to have those transitional champs if you want to throw a tagline on it from time to time. It's going to happen. Do I need a 9-10 month reign from Jey Uso? No, not necessarily. You talk about Gunther maybe moving over Marz, and I said on yesterday's show, and maybe I didn't say it on show. I did say it afterwards, but if you have JB Gunther, and then now I don't know how they get there based off of last night because there's a lot more story to be told as far as what they did last night. But Jay beat Roman, you beat Gunther and Roman, then to me you're stamped as a champion. Don't know what else you can do to say I'm not a fluke if you beat arguably 2 of the top guys in your company back to back. So will they go that way? I doubt it, but just throwing that out there as a way to kind of rubber stamp and put some validity behind the championship title win. as far as that goes. I'm not mad. Not mad at the match. I'm definitely not mad at the outcome. Right call was made. I agree with everything you guys have sentimented before. With the tap, I brought up, Gunther doesn't like being put in submission holds and tapped out early to Ilya as well. But if you kind of want to really dissect it and get into it, but some fans don't look this deeply at it, but the tap was kind of necessary based on everything that Gunther did to Jay, especially with taking Jimmy out, the way that he took Jimmy out. Jay, I'm gonna embarrass you. I'm coming for you. Like, now, did it get to that level of violence as far as Jay's promo a couple of weeks ago, where he told Gunther to, go to sleep, say your prayers, Mania, I'm whooping your ass? No, but there is a tie-in, if you want to call it a loose tie-in, to the story as far as the tap being in play for the finish itself.
See that because he choked him out. How many times? On the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah. So like,
Jason always talks about the moments too. The match gave you the moment of him winning, so that's what they were looking for.
And that's all they're going to remember 10 years from now. No one's going to remember the tap. No one's going to remember the pin. They're just going to remember the moment, him hoisting the belt and going into the crowd. And it was ultimately right call. It doesn't hurt Gunther at all. He's still, 3-1 over Jay in head-to-head competition.
Yeah.
But you need that tap to establish that we're at least on par, that we're equal in the game.
And I mean, he has 2 losses in a span of 3 years, almost 4 years. Like, the man is, like, he had a 666-day title reign with the IC title before he lost to Sammy. He won the belt and then lost it after almost year-long run. So, like, Gunther does not take any blemishes as far as chink in the armor of the Ring General themselves.
Just give me pissed off Gunther now and let him be a force to be reckoned with at this point.
All right, so that's it for the World Heavyweight title match. Let's get into the next title that changed hands that I felt was the right call. Jacob Fatu wins the United States Championship over LA Knight, and probably the best match after the opener as far as crowd interaction and them getting behind what those two did in the ring. I thought they had a very good match given how much they've wrestled each other leading up to the actual one-on-one match, whether it be with tag teams thrown together or some single stuff. Jacob didn't squash LA Knight like some had expected him to do. So kudos to LA Knight for going out there and having a grand showing. I said yesterday, bookmark it. Jacob Fatu wins the United States title at Mania 41. He wins the World Heavyweight title at Mania 42 as the Royal Rumble winner. But overall, LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, thoughts, reactions, breakdown. We'll go with Donald. What do you got from LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu?
Definitely the right call. I think LA Knight did, tremendous with his two stints as U.S. champ, real quick. So he could move on to something else. But it's time for Fatu and Solo to get heated up with this.
It's not. Listen, you need mid-card storylines, and there's not a better mid-card storyline to run with that title than to jump into more Bloodline saga. So I'm here for that. Jay, what you got?
Right call. Clear the board in the mid-card decision on the mid-card title or scene. I don't want to see Braun. I don't want to see Shinsuke. I don't want to see LA Knight. Give me a fresh new crop because they done ran this whole circle into the ground.
Chris?
Definitely the right call, and just give me a dominant Jacob Fatu, and I'll be happy for the coming months with this story.
You just want to dominate everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he's the SmackDown version right now.
Give me a dominant Sawa, and
I know we're not getting that. So,
Marz?
Absolutely the right call. But before I even, start Fatu, because I love the guy, Kudos to LA Knight. I think that was the best I've seen him in ring since he's went from Matt Dupree to LA Knight. He was phenomenal in the ring. He looked tough. It was not a squash. He held his own. There were a couple of moments where I was like, oh, he's going to go over. I think he did phenomenal with his 2 reigns as the mid-card champion, he's champion, and he's ready to go into, I could see a LA Knight Yeet versus, rivalry if he moves on over to Raw. Definitely the right call, and I am here for the Jacob era. I'm here for the Samoan Werewolf era. As you mentioned, more bloodline drama as Solo obviously becomes jealous. I'm here for it. So right call, phenomenal match, probably my second favorite match of the night. And once again, LA Knight really, really impressed me between those ropes. He looked like a legit contender to me. So great match. Great match.
Yeah, I think the Solo Jacob seeds have been planted as far as them two going at it with the I love you Solo to not saying it to Solo saying I love you Jacob and everything that we've seen. But Yad Amin is out there unleashed and ready to run roughshod over an entire division and company. So I'm here for all that. If we're going to shake up rosters like the supposed draft is going to do here coming up shortly, give me, if you want to talk about, meat slapping meat, give me a Karrion Kross, Jacob Fatu program and let them two go at it and tear each other apart. I wouldn't mind seeing Jacob Fatu and Penta. We've seen that match on the Indies. I think them two can have a hell of a run versus each other. And pretty much anybody you line up across Jacob Fatu. I mean, the man is that good. Like he's literally he was literally sitting in the crowd last year watching WrestleMania, and now he's a United States champion. So the meteoric rise as far as Jacob Fatu is what it is. Mm-hmm. You saw it from the moment he debuted and the way he debuted whenever they brought him into the bloodline. And it's just continued. Like, there's no denying the charisma and everything else. He has it all. He's a 5-tool guy, and big time career is ahead of Jacob Fatu as far as main events and world heavyweight championships. So,
yeah, aura personified, as the kids say, aura personified. So,
absolutely. And if you were familiar with Jacob Fatu before he came into the WWE, all you need to do is go back and rewatch his entire MLW run and see what he's truly capable when he is the guy of a promotion, because he can be the guy of WWE and carry it well. So that's hate.
Is it wrong? Is it wrong?
Nope, not going nowhere. The Yeet shirt stays on, Taekwon. Okay. All right. All right, now let's get into the match that probably has the most drama coming into it as far as WrestleMania builds go. Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton. Tiffy Time comes out on top, retains the title in a rather stiff slugfest at times. So let's go around the horn again. Reactions here. Marz, what do you got as far as Tiffany and Charlotte?
As I touched on it earlier, it was a good match, a hard-hitting match. I know sandbagging when I see sandbagging, and there was a lot of sandbagging going on. We've seen this from Charlotte before, with the instance of throwing the belt at Becky Lynch, her and Nia Jax, and Nia Jax having to slap the Jesus out of her, and now with Tiffany.
Nate the Great, yeet.
It seems to me like Charlotte she's got a little level of unprofessionalism. And that's really not cool. Like, you've been the golden chariot. You made
pointing at you, Jason.
She's been the golden chariot since she's made her debut. So it was a good match, a little hard hitting. But yeah, I saw the before and after don't care what Tiffany says. She was missing half a tooth, but it was a good match. But yeah, Charlotte showed some unprofessionalism, in my opinion.
Chris?
Real between those two.
Yeah,
Chris?
for sure. Thought it was a decent match. It started out really strong for me, and I just felt like they both kind of got gassed there. I mean, if they were, if the emotion was there and they were just, letting it all out on the line in the ring, I can see why. But it definitely slowed down there, and I just didn't feel like it really picked back up that momentum again. But I mean, the right call for Tiffany to retain the title.
Donald?
To me, it didn't feel like a WrestleMania match. The entrances felt WrestleMania, but it felt like a glorified main event on SmackDown match. It did. Like you said, it was a slugfest in the beginning. It just seemed like a bunch of
Coming at Jason.
Slugfest in the beginning, but the match didn't seem like a WrestleMania match at all. There was like nothing special about it.
That comment was being said a lot about a lot of the matches on Mania, which leads to that UFC TKO pay-per-view type setup where the spectacle of the payoffs between blood feuds that have been built up on the road to WrestleMania just didn't hit the way that it should have. I would have been way more invested in this match if they took the same energy from the pull apart brawl that they had several weeks ago, and that's what they ran with in the match. I didn't need chain wrestling. I didn't need moonsaults. Just go out there and slug it out between the two ends, and whatever woman ends up on top, is the one that deserves to ends up on top. Like, carry that energy over. There's times where, as a producer, I don't know who put that match together, but there's times when you need to make the call and say, okay, I love what you guys are coming up with, but based on everything that's gone on prior to tonight's match, we need to go in this direction.
Yes.
Because that's what it's called for. So I would have much rather have seen less of the quote unquote wrestling maneuvers and more of the slug it out, let's throw hands type of feel.
It could have been made into a hardcore match. It really, with the level of disdain, like you mentioned, this is a match where we need to see
a false count anywhere. We had no stipulations like that on the show itself. So, you're making creative decisions, and which we're going to get into for night 2 here, as far as some very questionable decisions. Like, why not add the stipulation to it based on where it went?
Yeah, they did it before.
Yeah, I agree. It would definitely turn into a whole different match.
Yeah. They've added it at WrestleMania as they're announcing the competitors to come out. So could easily
Stone Cold and Rock.
Yeah.
Jay, what are your Charlotte Flair flag waving, burying self have to say for her sandbagging, unprofessional performance last night? Go look at that finishing sequence. Go look at that finishing sequence. Sandbag the shit out of that entire finish.
Come on. It was a good match. Couple of few botches, too much hair, like Dawn says. That was credited to half of the botches. But I mean, it's Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair on one leg and a gas Tiffany Stratton who can't go more than 5 minutes.
Only complaint I had with Charlotte in that match was there was a couple times that she completely no sold. Like there was the part of whenever she jumped down on her knee and it hurt, and then Tiffy attacked it, and then Charlotte just got right back up like nothing happened.
So you got to carry the match. You got to call the next shot. You got to get your play.
Look at that.
Can't be the ring general and the victim. You can't.
Hey, we talk about AEW not selling. I mean, if you're
don't give me that level.
It was that level of no selling.
She wasn't turning every power bomb into a Spanish fly.
Yep. Jason will defend to the day he dies. Look, I don't know what's next for Charlotte Flair. I really truly don't at this point, right? Like, she's come back. We've talked about the space that she's in. The reactions to her, the character that she's putting out there, the back and forth between the Charlotte Flair versus the real life Ashley and what she went through and everything else from a personal life perspective. Not saying that she needs to go away again, but I don't know what's next for Charlotte Flair. And she's been one of these wrestlers, and we've seen a lot of them. Jay came out and talked about, he's on the back nine, only has a couple of years left. Charlotte's been on record for a really long time as far as saying she's not going to be this lifer that does this forever.
Mm-hmm.
Given everything that's gone on, would I want to see Charlotte go away and just go away? Probably not, based off of the performer when she's on her game that she is. And that's me giving Charlotte some credit because I don't normally do that. But like at this point, I don't even know if it's best for her to be in the business, given everything that's gone on the last 2 years, and then coming back and having this sort of performance leading up to Mania. So it will be interesting to see where she goes next. Maybe she'll go over to Raw and win that women's title because, that's what she does. She'll get a title shot right away. No, Charlotte Flair is definitely not going to be in AAA. I can tell you that much.
No, it's AAA. Remember, Steve, it's AAA.
It's AAA, yeah.
Yeah, it only took 2 hours for WWE to Americanize that. They said no more AAA. We're just calling it AAA. So go get your roadside service as well as a Lucha Libre match from WWE now.
Does that count as a world title?
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, resume checking, right? She had to go back to NXT, so.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, you might see her down there, Stephanie Valkyrie. Hey, Julia. There's a whole new crop down there that I could, Hogan over.
Moved during the match, so maybe that was a little foreshadowing.
Well, and Stephanie's come out in interviews and said she was unaware that Charlotte did it, but Stephanie does it differently than Charlotte. So take that for what you will. But that's more beef for Charlotte to sandbag a match with Stephanie because
What Jason said, the leg strength. She does it different. The leg strength.
yeah.
With the flip. With that forward flip over. Stephanie doesn't do this.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the main event, the match that saved night one, which is pretty much a universal statement that all you guys put out there, but it truly is. It did save the card as far as I'm concerned here. We see Paul Heyman doing what Paul Heyman does, what Paul Heyman has always done, align himself with the next biggest thing. When did this go into action? We've seen all that, and we'll touch on it before we get into predictions. And I'll add in bits and pieces of color here to you guys if none of these points are brought up. But main event, night one, Seth Rollins stands tall after Paul Heyman turns and aligns himself with the architect, the visionary, the Messiah, Seth Rollins. Reactions, thoughts? Jason, what do you got from the main event, night one?
Well, I fell asleep for most of it, so it was good. Right call. Seth is, for me, top wrestler in the game right now, and he can adapt to any role. I'm looking to see where this goes.
Donald.
Called it exactly the way I thought it was going to happen. Love the match altogether, but the story interweaving, and it's just more interweaving now with Heyman being aligned with Seth. So I'll get more into it with predictions, because I have a thought.
Marz,
where it might go. Phenomenal storytelling, and that's what I look for most when I look at all the flips and flippity flips, but I look for storytelling. So A1 when it comes to storytelling, the callback, the package before CM Punk came out with his old music. Oh man, I think my nipples were hard. It was fantastic. And then Roman covered out with the shiny brand new chompers, the Jordans, phenomenal aura, out of this world. The match was great in between the ring. They told a phenomenal story. CM Punk really is one of the best in the world when it comes to telling a story in a match. And even though it's obvious, we knew that Heyman was going to leave the night with Seth. I think anybody that could read between the lines, sometimes even though you know how the book's going to end, it's still worth the read. and it opened so many other potential chapters. When he said that they were on inning 3, this shows that they were really on inning 3, and this is going to give Roman an opportunity to be the baby face that the man that we shall not name always wanted him to be, and this is going to give Seth an opportunity to be in his natural role as a heel, and nobody helps someone become a heel better than Paul Heyman. He just has a way of just being slimy, and it's great. So overall, I think this could have ended night 2. It was that good, and saved the night. It really could have just been that match, and I would have been satisfied. So phenomenal, 10 out of 10 for that particular match, and I love where they're going with it.
Chris?
I think there's definitely plenty more story to be told, especially tonight. I think we're going to see the continuation. I was very happy that Seth won. I was very shocked that Roman took the pin 2 years in a row. But maybe that'll help give him a little bit of a break here too, before he comes back. I'm definitely interested in seeing where, especially after tonight, where the chips fall, what Paul Heyman's role is going to be with Seth or possibly with others, because Seth doesn't really need a mouthpiece. But, I think Paul is going to be there more for other things.
I froze up there. Yeah, I'll add my tidbits in when we get to predicting the night 2 main event as far as this match goes. But overall, this was everything that I love about pro wrestling. From very good in ring wise content, match flow. Each man had their spots. Each man added something to build up the anticipation. Heyman, it wasn't even 2 minutes into the match, and Heyman was outside crying already. Like the man is just pure genius when it comes to the art of emotion and storytelling and gravitas, to where he's outside, but you almost want to pay more attention to him than what's going on inside the ring. And some may say that's a negative. To me, that's a positive when it comes to Paul Heyman. He is definitely one of one. We have never seen another one like him. We never will see another one like him. He is the GOAT of managers, if you want to call managers, as far as pro wrestling goes. There's Heyman and then everybody else. And I say that being a huge Bobby the Brain Heenan fan, but Heyman has even upped his game more to where he's separated himself from the Heenans and those in that ilk there. So no doubt, kudos to him. Job well done from everybody involved, and we'll circle back around more to this when we get into predictions here for night 2. So with that being said, Chris, let's get on and going.
All right. They officially announced this, right? Women's World Championships opening up the show. Io, Bianca, and Rhea.
Yes, this is the opener to night 2, starting off with a bang. Women's 3-way match. Maybe somebody's match of the night here on the panel. We'll see once we wrap up predictions. But go around the horn, Chris, since you brought it up on the drop there. What do you got as far as Io, Bianca, and Rhea?
Io has to win. If you do the disservice of having Io take the loss, she's just as forgettable as Bianca and Rhea have made her the past couple weeks on TV. So she needs to. I have a feeling Rhea's taking the pin here, because I have a feeling that's going to ignite Bianca's, just kind of like flip that light switch on her to kind of start that heel turn. But Io for the win.
Donald?
I have Io for the win. Yeah, because she's been getting pushed out the way like Bianca and Rhea, just like never see her in the picture. So that's fueling her fire to win.
Mars?
I actually have Bianca winning this. I agree with you guys, and I probably should have thought about that point of her getting pushed to the side, but I've already dug in, so I'm going to stick with my opinion. Bianca wins this. She turns heel. If you listen to the crowd, she's already turned heel. and I'm ready for it. You know, she's very John Cena like, as far as just so goody good two shoes and bringing the kids out. So I want to see more of her nasty NXT side and turn that thing up to a 10 and go on to feud with Rhea. You know, I love Io, you know, between the ropes, but we can go ahead and throw her into the women's intercontinental category, and let's go see Mommy and Bianca have the feud that we've, you know, been waiting for. So I'm going to go with Bianca winning this one.
If you are going to go with the heel NXT version of Bianca and times it by 10 and have her be that, she needs a babyface on that level to do that against. And Mommy is that babyface. However, I will say some of that babyface shine that Mommy has had has kind of worn off for me a little bit over the course of this run and this build, because she's come across as being, you know, the same belly aching, I get so many opportunities that she says she's against all the time, right? She hasn't acted like Rhea Ripley normally does coming into this. We got another EO for the win. So Kyrie is cleared to come back. They've been waiting for that. I would expect Kyrie, as far as like a fallout to WrestleMania, be a return from a surprise aspect, whether it's on Raw or SmackDown. But that is out there in that way. Jay, who you got?
I agree with you guys on EO, but I'm not betting against Bianca. Once they start booing, I dug in. Bianca's winning. EST.
Yeah.
This, you know, I woke up to the smells of black eyed peas and collard greens and baked ham this morning, better than Folgers in your cup. And you know how everything in my world revolves around chocolate, but in this instance, I'm going with Io. She's the forgotten soul that you guys had mentioned, but she's a dominant force that needs a run in this division. And, you know, maybe we can get a turn away from the way women like her, a la Asuka, and Kyrie have been booked in the past by a certain booker that shall remain nameless. I think it's Io's time to have a true push and take control, no pun intended, of the women's division and actually put herself on notice as being the top dog out there, you know, as far as best in the world goes, regardless of promotion. So I'll go Io. I would hate to say I don't want to see Rhea turn into Charlotte Flair, but you know the story, and this goes for anybody in the WWE, and we'll get into this when we talk about the main event later, but you're the good guy for so long until the fans determine that it's time for you to be the villain because of how long you've been a good guy or girl. So Rhea has been this babyface, mommy-loving individual for so long now. Chris's favorite word to describe the audience is fickle. It's about time they turn that fickle meter up and just boo Rhea just because. So
I feel like we're in a different era now where we're regressing. There's going to be no more baby faces.
That's so
everybody's gonna ride. That's so everybody's gonna ride the line like AEW when they first came. There's no good guys or bad guys.
Yeah,
just shades of gray, right? So, all right, next.
All right, let's get into the Sin City street fight: Priest versus McIntyre.
I'll go first here. I know some of my co-hosts have said that they don't need this match, they don't want this match, they don't care about this match. I've loved everything that they've done with these two to get to this point, and I'm invested in seeing them two go out there and just have a slugfest where they beat the crap out of each other for 10 to 12 minutes. This is my, meat on meat slapping match of the night of the weekend. I think they're going to go out there and have a tremendous match. Priest can put on top tier performances. McIntyre's on a whole nother level in his career right now, and he has been since Mania last year. So I'm really looking forward to this match. I got McIntyre winning though. Jay,
for me, we have the HPI. We need like a lost aura list because that's where Damian Priest is for me. He was up there moving through the Judgment Day, and then once he moved over to SmackDown, he's become forgettable. And Drew is just Drew. He's at the top of his game. He's winning.
Chris,
this match should have been on SmackDown on Friday. This is on the Mania card just because of the power of these two men. They felt it should have been on the card. I'm gonna go. I think it has potential. I think it's a sneaky stipulation match that could be better than the way it's booked. But I'm going with Drew.
saying Drew McIntyre should be on the Friday before WrestleMania is blasphemous.
Just done nothing for me.
Donald?
I hope this street fight turns out to be like Piper and Goldust back at WrestleMania 12, like the back area brawl. Just something like that, just to give it a different twist, except a regular street fight, because we've been seeing a lot of street fights lately the past couple of years. So if they do something like that, which I highly doubt they're not going to, but I would be appreciated if they did something like that. But I'm going with Drew with the win here.
So we need Damian Priest hopping on top of a gold Pontiac and Drew driving around the parking lot? That's what you're saying?
Something like that, yep. Driving up and down the strip, trying to chase each other,
They still got the footage of the Bronco?
Yeah.
Just keep breaking in, like the event's still going on. They keep breaking in. Where are they at? They're down
Mars, who you got? Priest or Drew?
Number one, kudos on the Piper Goldust callback. Did not have that on my big card today. I'm going Drew. I think WWE has invested so much in Drew. We know he's the Rock's guy. He's like the head of the face of Rock's sneakers that I won't be purchasing. The
new Project Rock line, Drew McIntyre was front and center of there.
And stick with my props versus the Rock, but I definitely could see Drew winning this. Really, both of these men need it, so it's a tough call. Maybe it ends with both of them pass out in a double count out. Who knows? I don't even know if you could do that in a street fight, but I see Drew coming off. But I think it's going to be an actual potential match of the night stiller. I think a lot of people are sleeping on these two gentlemen. These guys can go. The only thing that bothers me with Damian Priest, a.k.a. Timu Taker, is the gear. I know he's supposed to be this rock star, but it's hard to be tough when you're in purple spandex. So.
or rocking a silk press. It's hard for me to get behind you. Yeah, man.
Colorful braids when I know you sat in a salon for 8 hours getting braids done. It's hard for me to be afraid of you, but I think it's gonna be
he's coming out straight ponytail.
match stiller, but I'm going with Drew.
Yeah, there we go. We got to put on Mania versus Take Off Mania that we talked about yesterday, talent wise. We got this match coming off and putting the Street Profits on. Not mad at that. Yeah, Goldust. Yeah, eventually Goldie will get in.
Yeah, that AEW contract need to end first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, next up.
Up next, let's get into the Women's Tag Team Championship. Liv and Raquel versus Lara and whoever they decide to. I think we might know who, but
listen. I said this last night when the four of us were watching the show. This type of move, and I responded to, I forget who it was. I think it might have been Bishop Dyer, Chris's favorite, Baron Corbin, because he put out a tweet that it's tremendous. But this is the type of move that a talent should absolutely leave the company over. And I know Mercedes tweeted out once the announcement was made, she put a finger point, a telephone, and a face emoji with money bags and tagged at It's Me Bailey to give her the call. But if you're taking a talent like Bailey and you run this booking the way that they've ran it, to pair her up with Lara, to have a title match, to join forces, to win a tag team women's title gauntlet, to have a fake injury storyline come into play to pull you off of WrestleMania. If I'm Bayley, I'm seeing if I can get out of my contract ASAP, and I'm leaving. I'm done. That's disrespectful on a whole nother level, and I don't know if this is a conglomeration of Road Dogg Triple H creative over SmackDown. I don't know who's in charge of this particular storyline, but they need fired. Bayley needs to leave ASAP. I don't care if it is Becky Lynch coming in to be the replacement. This is terrible booking and probably the most disrespectful thing that I've seen done to a top tier talent in a really long time.
This to me reeks of Bruce Pritchard, because you know who he books like, and that's exactly a move that they would have done in a different era.
Yeah, and the cat's kind of out of the bag with this one per se, as far as who our tag team partner is going to be. But
I brought it up to you guys last night when we were talking about it, because Steve, when we were talking about the Rumble, it was Becky didn't want to come back for the Rumble until she had better creative to come back for. And how does this match justify better creative to come back for?
Yeah, if I'm Bayley, I'm going to Becky, being like, yo, what's the deal?
Yeah.
Like, you rubber stamp this, you thumbs up this? Like, and listen, I don't know where Bayley's at in her career as far as how she feels about certain things. Like, she's one of the women that tends to work with the younger girls on the roster and that. And, she came back and she was the reason why Damage Control with Io and Dakota, she picked them two personally because she wanted to spotlight them and give them runs that they didn't have based on previous administration. But again, there's only so much that a person can take with a slap to the face. And this is just, if it was Pritchard, again, Triple H signed off on it as well, but this is terrible.
Yeah.
She's the most constant, most selfless, but most disrespected of the four horsewomen.
That's a good way
there's
to put
no
it.
doubt about that.
Yes.
I would 100% agree with that. Yeah.
And honestly, and I hate to even bring it up, but because I think she's a beautiful woman, but I just think it's because she slightly resembles Jay Leno in the face, and they don't see like.
Yo, don't make me drop you. Don't make me drop you. Don't make me cut off and drop you off the panel. We will not have that type of slander towards Bayley. Okay.
She's gorgeous, but I'm just, getting in Bruce Pritchard mindset. So,
there's the excuse. I'm projecting from somebody else.
I'm shocked over that one because I've never heard anybody describe it that way.
So I'm gonna take it back an era.
And it's put side by side, and then come back and holler at it.
We try to move away from stereotypes and tropes, and Marz is just coming in with the hammer. Like, nope, what we're doing. All right, if it is Becky,
True squeeze.
We have Lyra and Becky versus the tag team champs. Who do you got, Jason?
Give me Raquel and Liv.
Marz?
I think Raquel and Liv retain, and we see a heel turn from Becky. Since her and Lyra have been friends, they have that history. If you remember the NXT battle, and I could see Becky and Lyra battling for the Intercontinental. So yeah, I'm going to go Liv and Liv and
Raquel.
Raquel.
Nice.
You just slandering everybody today.
Yeah.
Marz is still in the mixed match challenge over there.
I lost my beard and my integrity all at the same time.
Donald.
I'm going to Liv and Raquel to retain. There is no way that Becky and Lyra should win the titles, especially when Lyra has the Intercontinental title. And you're just going to check mark off a resume check for Becky again? Because that's what it seems like with her. A lot of the time, just resume checking on titles.
She's had this though, hasn't she?
The IC title? No.
No. The women's tag. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chris?
The IC title could definitely be a possibility, Donald.
Yeah.
I want to see Liv and Raquel retain here.
Yeah, Squeaks. We all saw it, and it was the greatest clip ever. And I've replayed it as much as I rewatched the Sierra new video. Okay, it's been on repeat as far as clips go.
Give me Liv and Raquel to retain here, but we already know that they've already broken that fourth wall that Seth and Becky are together in real life. So I'm kind of to Mars's point that we might see a Becky heel turn here. Is that going to tie with other storylines going on?
I hate when that son of a bitch down there steals my thunder before I can get my point off. Absolutely hate it. And I also hate whenever me and him are on the same wavelength. It's not good podcasting for this show when me and him think alike. But to tie into what Mars and Chris expressed here, Becky heel turn and aligning with Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, etc. We always talk about Heyman guys, and I'm a Heyman guy. There's no more bigger Heyman guy than the man, Becky Lynch. So give me that heel turn. I got Liv and Raquel retaining. We're off to the races with Becky and Lyra as far as the next IC title feud and go on from there. So, yep, kudos all the way around the board for booking that out if we had the pencil. Although Mars, the Bailey slander is not going to happen.
I love it.
All right. We're going to move on to the open challenge of who is going to face Randy Orton tonight.
Becky Lynch.
So this is where Bailey comes in?
Yeah, potentially this is where Bailey comes in. Nice. Yeah, and New Authority Group, The Rock. Before you give your predictions as far as who's going to win this match, let me know who you have as far as answering this open challenge, and then give your winner based off of that. So since Chris stole my thunder last time, let's see if he piggybacks off of my take that I said last night and goes with that. So Chris, who you got as far as answering the challenge and who will win the match?
I want to see what we talked about 2 weeks ago. It didn't get booked this way, but let's see Nick Aldis. Joe Hendry.
Nick Aldis coming out, putting on the trunks, getting that Mania moment. Wouldn't be mad at it. Absolutely not. I think he deserves at least to get that if he's just going to be an on-screen general manager, which he's done a tremendous job as in that role. But I do think he has way more than enough left in the tank to go out there and have a moment. And that's not.
He's not even 40 yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's younger than Randy.
He's not 40 yet.
No.
Really? Ooh.
So you got all this coming out answering the challenge. Who wins the match?
Oh, Randy.
Donald?
We'll probably say I'm not sure. I know Randy's going to win the match. Come out. I really haven't thought about it, to notice.
All right, good podcasting. Good job.
Yeah.
So we got Randy from Donald. All right, Jay, who you got?
Give me somebody like, if it ain't Rusev, give me somebody like Sammy. If it ain't a surprise, it's going to be a letdown.
All right, so if it is Sammy, who you got? Sammy or Orton?
Oh, Randy.
Mars?
So I'm gonna go. I'm surprised when I wouldn't be mad at Nick Aldis, but if it's going to be Nick, then I need him to be a full-time wrestler moving forward. I don't want just a flash in the pan and then him back in the blue suit next Friday. So I'm going to go, since I don't believe, because I understand that he has some type of injury, and I think that's what's keeping him from being an in-ring competitor. So I'm going to go with Aleister Black. I understand that he's re-signed. He has an amazing entrance. He could easily get the shock win over Randy. I think Randy would put him over. So I'm going to say Aleister Black making his return, and I'm going to go off the cuff and say Randy loses.
So Aleister, from the vignettes that have been aired, has been pegged as far as a surprise return for after Mania with SmackDown, as far as the dates go and the smoke vignettes and everything else. So you would be changing up the creative booking in that regards to have him come back out as far as a surprise return, but not a bad choice at all with somebody that's re-signed to the company. And I think those two would definitely put on a hell of a match in that regards. I'm going with who has been rumored and who had a road trip picture snapped it and shot it out and thrown out there by his now, wife again, CJ Perry. I'm going with Rusev. This is not the way that they wanted to bring Rusev back. This is definitely a change to the creative and rushing him back to a spot. I don't love bringing him out there and having him lose in his re-debut to Randy Orton. But, hey, maybe Orton's changed and he got a new outlook on the business and can say, no, bring him back and I'll put him over. And there's no better way to reestablish Rusev in the WWE to continue the Redeemer role whenever he was so hot as the greatest TNT champion in AEW than having Rusev come back and beat Randy Orton. So give me Rusev back in the fold, and I've got Rusev beating Randy Orton in this match.
Rusev Day.
I do have somebody after just thinking about it. If they're so high and mighty on him down in NXT, let's see Oba come up, and just see his crowd reactions to, on the main roster, and he's fighting up against a vet. So
you said that we'll get.
If you're going to do a reaction, they're going to bring Chirk.
Nah, if I'm going off the cuff with that, then I'm going with Squeeze here. Give me Joe Hendry. Like, you want to talk about a crowd pop,
that would be
like as a Royal Rumble surprise type pop. Like, if I believe in the like that place will go unglued.
Yeah,
that may be the pop of the weekend if that happens. That's definitely fantasy booking, but be a hell of a
I wouldn't be upset over it. Yeah. All right, moving on. We're going to get into the IC title match. Braun, Penta, Finn, and Dominic.
This has potential for me to be match of the night with these four in here. We're definitely headed towards the Dom Finn Judgment Day breakup. Finn came out and did the thing, as part of the entrance to his, walkout. So we're definitely getting that shift to taking Finn out of the Judgment Day in that regards. We talk about shock and awe in moments. Give me Dominic Mysterio here. If he's not top three, he's definitely not 2 or 3. He's number 1 in Donald's eyes. So I'm gonna go with that trash can, as Pat McAfee calls him, Dominic Mysterio, to be your new Intercontinental Champion after this match. Chris.
You're gonna hate this, but I agree with you. I feel like if you're gonna do a 4-way match, this is the easiest way to put the title on Dom. I mean, I'm really okay with Penta, Finn, or Dom walking out as champ, but
Breaker math was great. Breaker math may be better than Steiner math. Breaker did the Common Core version of the Steiner math equation, so tremendous there.
Figures, and he was right. It added up. It was 129.
Adds up.
Yeah.
It checks, huh?
It was a Pythagorean theory. That's what he was.
I'm sorry, Chris. Who'd you say?
Dom.
All right. Donald.
He got to be Dom. He put in all the work last year without the title. Not really wrestling and just being like the side piece to everybody and all like that. And then he wins the title. And then next year's WrestleMania, he'll fight for the other world title that Jacob's not fighting for.
I think next year's WrestleMania, Dom has a title versus career match against his dad, and he retires Ray
for the mask.
Mars?
I'm going Dominic as well. I knew when they put the 4.
Not a good sign. Not a good sign.
I love it. I love it.
When they put the 4-way together, I was like, okay, so they're taking the belt off Braun. He's done all that he needs to do with the belt. I'm ready to put him in a world title program. Steiner Mav, he cuts a great promo. I know I'm talking about Dom, but I just want to say Braun has been phenomenal. Great promo. Intensity is unmatched. Best spear in the history of the game. runs the ropes like a Terminator, T-1000. Great. But Dom and Finn, the story is there. You also remember Dom talking about bringing a new member into the Judgment Day. Could it be Penta? Could it be someone else? But Dom wins this, and we're going to see a lot more boos of him and Liv draped in gold going out with people just loving to hate Dom. And I agree with you. I could see next year being a retirement match, Mass versus Career or something like that. And Dominic wins, but it's going to be a great match and a potential night stealer with those four guys.
Braun said in an interview leading up to WrestleMania that he's planning on winning the World Championship soon. If we're going to circle back and talk about transitional champions, Braun on Raw against Jey Uso, and Braun being the bad guy in that equation, which they've tried but failed because of the popularity with the dogs barking. I think if you put him up against Jay, you can actually have him be in that role as the bad guy because you're not going to be the fan favorite against Jey Uso. Not a bad choice to have Braun go out there and be the next guy as far as that goes, challenging Jay. So not mad at what you said there in that regards. Jay, are we doing a clean sweep 5 for 5 with Dominic, or you got somebody else here?
Look here, it needs to be Finn, but we're going around the horn. Dirty Dom.
I would love to see Penta because I'm a huge Penta mark. Penta, to me, from the first time I saw him in Lucha Underground, and shout out Michael Cole for giving Lucha Underground some well-due credibility last night with saying Rey Fenix was a Lucha Underground champion. I would love to see Penta be the guy in the spot here, just from my own personal favorite to mark out. But Dom, to me, is the right call. We're 5 for 5 on Dom, which means he's going to get taken out early through a table and not even enter back into the match.
If it was a one-on-one, I'd definitely be on Penta.
Yeah. See, look, now, Squeeze, you're talking like a podcaster because you're in the ins and outs of the outside of the ring. And yes, Braun and Jay are traveling partners and are really good tight friends. So that is definitely some emotion that you can tie into and a story to be told on TV. Because when is wrestling the best? When you make real life blur the lines with storytelling and professional wrestling. And that, as you say, is a layup, much like the layup you did whenever you scored in the other team's basket back in the day in basketball. So the only layup he had all game was for the other team in his own basket. So shout out there.
All right. Moving on. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. This is my potential match of the night.
Listen, for as good as Logan Paul is, I do not need you beating AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Especially because we don't know how many more WrestleManias we're getting out of AJ Styles. Yeah. He is definitely done after this contract, and I don't know how long that contract is. I need AJ Styles to win here. Don't give me Logan Paul. Logan Paul can do all his shit, and he'll probably be the most talked about, like you said, Chris. But yeah, I don't need Logan Paul hitting the pulverizer on AJ and seeing a 3 count at WrestleMania. I absolutely will drop kick my television screen if that happens. So give me AJ Styles.
I feel like he's done it too much.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. You can keep running it. Go ahead.
I feel he's hit that pulverizer too much on AJ at this point. So, I feel like that's the given that AJ is going to walk out with a victory. So, going with AJ.
Mars?
I am going for I would love AJ to win. I prefer AJ to win. But Logan Paul's going to win. They, as you mentioned, AJ has maybe a mania. Maybe they added some time for his injury, but I don't think he has a lot of time left on his contract, maybe a year tops. He's already mentioned he's slowing down, and he's going to put over Logan Paul. Logan Paul, it's got everything that the new TKO WWE wants. He has notoriety. He has a fanfare. He can perform in the ring. Ever since he's lost the U.S. title, he's kind of lost some steam. So to keep him as a legitimate person that you can throw in a world title match, throw in an intercontinental title match, throw in a United States Championship match, I think they're going to go with Logan Paul. But I would love for AJ to win it. He deserves it.
Jay.
Don't give me this whole Karrion Kross story for nothing. Give me AJ Styles.
Donald?
Yeah, give me AJ for the win. Just because, like everybody said, you don't know how much longer he has. Plus, I haven't think AJ won at Mania in a while.
Shinsuke? Was that his last Mania win?
Yeah, no, probably
Or
not.
no, did he lose? He lost to Shinsuke. Never mind.
Didn't he win and Shinsuke turned heel?
He won. Yeah, but that was pre-COVID, so
yeah. So it's been a bit.
So it's been a bit. So AJ for the win.
And last but not least, undisputed WWE Championship, Cody versus Cena.
All right, we'll get into the bag of tricks here because we got a lot of theories to break down and jump into with this one.
Chug that Mountain Dew. He's ready to go.
Yeah. So Donald, since you just housed the amount of 24-ounce Mountain Dew at 20, who you got? Cody Rhodes or John Cena? And if you want to add in some extra tidbits, which I'm sure we'll all break down and get into here. But go ahead. Who you got? Rhodes or Cena?
Cena definitely for the win, but it's going to be messy. Cody Rhodes will definitely get his receipt on Travis Scott. But as I was thinking, Seth is going to show up because Cody, the match. Then Seth, Heyman, Rock, and Cena will all be the new faction. And I'm giving it off as Seth is going to win the title on Raw, with Cena winning the title for SmackDown. And it's going to be the Death Rider story told better. These belts belong to The Rock. They belong to TKO, which is The Rock. It is going to be a better Death Rider story told.
Carried around in briefcases.
No, you're actually going to see the belts. But
so The Rock,
but these are our titles, but they're going to be The Rock's titles. They're the TKO titles.
The Rock has been rumored to show up at Mania. Don't know if it's actually going to happen or not, but he has been rumored. If we want to, bring full circle and talk about long-term storytelling, we have, Seth Rollins out there dressing like The Rock, with the turtleneck with the chain and then the black vest. You have, him aligning with Heyman, and go way back to the beginning run of the Final Boss. What did Paul Heyman have in his hand? A Rock phone. He had a direct line to The Rock. It wasn't just called Roman Reigns. It was called The Rock. So we want to talk about how long has this been brewing? Not to mention the tagline, best for business. Cena said that after the Rumble, best for business, aligned with The Rock. Seth Rollins dropped it in a promo not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, best for business. Seth has more than enough gripes with Cody to cost him the title here. And he already sold his soul to Heyman, aligned with him. Heyman and Seth both sold their soul to The Rock because it's what's best for business. So give me Cena with number 17, and you see Rock, Cena, Seth, Heyman, Becky Lynch all on stage to close the show. Chris?
I don't know if I can add too much more than that, other than I think at the end of the day, yes, Roman was Paul's tribal chief, but who's the real head of the table there? So that's kind of what you said about the direct line to The Rock. I think Paul Heyman served the family for so long that, he's still going to keep serving with the family, just a different person now. I also think that maybe Paul's going to be more the Mike piece for Cena. Yeah, Cena can cut a great promo, don't get me wrong on that, but Cena could kind of be like with the champ, I've said what I need to say to you people, and just let Paul handle things for him.
What has John Cena done this entire hill run? He's done the complete opposite of everything that he's done previously that made him the Cena babyface Make-A-Wish hero for 20 years. Giving up the microphone to Paul Heyman is the opposite of what John Cena would do. So it completely fits the mold to have Heyman there, Chris, as the mouthpiece for John Cena. And Cena's schedule, if you look at the breakdown and the layout that was put out there, he is, after Mania, he is going to be on as more of
I think
a
3rd June right now.
full-time basis. So, yeah, expect a lot of John Cena over the next 2-3 months. Probably take some time off between, June and SummerSlam. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Heyman out there being the advocate for John Cena because it's opposite of what Cena has done his whole career. So,
but yeah, I'm not sure everything that's going to happen here. I'm definitely, I have some thoughts, but I'm along for the story right now to see how it plays out tonight. But John Cena winning. Interested in seeing if John Cena just becomes a 17-time champ or if they continue the Universal title run that they have been, like even with Cody, and then he becomes an automatic 18-time champ.
Marz?
I agree with you guys 100% about the, laws of opposite momentum. Cody has dominated John in the last 2 SmackDown events, leaving him on the ground with probably the worst finisher in the game. So he also verbally, destroyed John when he said his face was melting and, stack of dimes with his neck. So
that was Cody. We didn't talk about it enough yesterday because we did kind of our weekly wrap up with Mount Rushmore's and Mush's on Friday's show on day 1 of Podomania. But that Cody promo for me would have been on my Mount Rushmore if this was a regular weekly show for us, because that's what I needed out of Cody Rhodes in that particular moment in time, right before the match. And kudos to John for just standing there, taking it on the chin like he's done to so many talents over the course of his career. So, yeah, I think Cody has done more than enough to put himself in prime position as far as being the guy coming into the match.
Absolutely.
John's leaving with the belt, though.
Yeah, John wins this, and I agree. This new fact, if you remember, if you're talking callbacks, Rock put up 3 fingers. 1, 2, 3. You put up 3. You got 1 with your Cena. With Cena, you're going to get 2 with Seth, and you're going to get 3 with probably Becky Lynch joining the fold. The 3 arguably biggest stars in their respective divisions, and they're all going to be, and with Paul Heyman as the mouthpiece, serving the Noah family as he's always have. But you have your tribal chief, but then you got the high chief, and that's Rock. And I think the one line that a lot of people, I haven't heard anybody talk about, but in that back and forth between John and Cody, after Cody said, "You still can't wrestle," John said, "I don't even have to. I'm not going to have to know how to wrestle because he's going to have so many things stacked in his favor. I feel Seth's, I feel Rock's coming out. I feel everything's going to be stacked against Cody. When it's all said and done, Cody's going to be face down on the mat, John holding the 17th or maybe 18th title over his head with, the Rock and the crowd just booing, as everybody just stands around. And it's a perfect picture for Cody to be back on the hunt with Roman maybe on his side, maybe Jay on his side, because they'll have something to do when Seth takes the title that Monday night. And it's going to be a nice little faction war, and I'm looking forward.
Jay?
I'm a differ here. You can't say I'm taking this title and going home and still have dates lined up.
Yeah, you can.
That's what I'm going with. So give me Cody.
Just because he has dates lined up doesn't mean you'll be able to see him
via satellite.
You got. I don't know. I don't know how you work around that. You said I'm taking it and going home.
I mean, CM Punk put the belt in the refrigerator and it worked out, so I could see him.
I mean, hey, Cena isn't the leader, so the leader wants you on TV. You got to show up on TV.
We said this going back to Royal Rumble, right? And The Rock was coming back, and how will we book it out? Cody versus Rock, and The Rock wants to take everything from Cody because Cody took The Rock's WrestleMania moment. He took away the biggest marquee matchup, arguably of all time, in Rock versus Roman, because he went into business for himself. What better way than for The Rock, the final boss, the head of the board of TKO, to come in and lay out this plan over a year-long stretch to leave Cody sitting in the middle of the ring at the end of WrestleMania Night 2, just looking deflated and flabbergasted because he is no longer the heavyweight champion.
Yep. The Rock said, "This could have been you.
This could have been you." We don't finish your story. I write my own story. And Cody's there sulking in tears, and all the Cody crybabies are out there crying away. And The Rock is going to cut an Instagram promo for 10 minutes talking about how he made all the crybabies cry again because he's the final boss. And Mama Rose is coming over to his house for Easter dinner. So, yeah. I need that promo.
This to me is Infinity War. You know, Thanos wins tonight with Cena, and then Cody comes back for the end game.
A cold glass of Terramana, him and Mama Rose.
Yep.
Wearing his Project Rock suits. And they watch Moana 2 on Disney Plus. He's going to plug all his stuff.
You got to watch. Check out what Mama Rhodes is wearing. You know, if she's wearing any Project Rock, then.
Is that a UFL hat?
Yeah. So those are our predictions for Night 2 of WrestleMania. Hit us up on social media. Let us know what your match predictions are for Night 2. Let's go around the horn real quickly before we wrap up Podomania 5 Day 3. What do you got for your match of the night? Marz, match of the night for you from Night 2.
Match of the night, I think it's going to be Drew and Damian Priest. I think just from bell to bell, they have the most potential. If you guys remember the Drew, Sheamus, and Gunther match a few years ago, and to me, that was match of the night. Drew is on a whole nother level. He's also another person that you might want to look for joining the faction. Maybe when Cena leaves, he takes the WWE title. But I think Damian and Drew are going to have the match of the night. Moment of the night, of course, will be the main event.
Drew being the third man is definitely something that I would be here for, given everything that he's said and done and the hatred towards Roman Reigns as well as Cody Rhodes. So I have no problem with Drew being slotted in that space as well, with Cena, Seth, and Drew. And The Rock doesn't even have to be there to run the show. So I like that. Chris, your match of the night.
Keeping it with AJ and Logan Paul.
Jason.
The IC 4-way.
Donald?
IC 4-way.
I'm going to go with the opener. Give me the women's triple threat. Io, Bianca, and Rhea. We've seen Bianca and Mercedes Moné a la Sasha Banks. We've seen what Rhea and Charlotte have done. Io is always out there with the holy shit moment. So give me those three in the ring together. I think we'll see magic unfold, and I will pick that as my match of the night. So that being said, there you go. Match of the night. Again, hit us up on social media. As always, follow along. Head on over to our YouTube channel. Email the show at dumbmarkspod at gmail. dumbmarkspod at gmail.com. Say that 5 times fast. Head on over to prowrestlingtees.com/dumbmarkspod. This was day 3, Podomania 5. We got day 4 coming up tomorrow night before the kickoff to the Raw after Mania. So, again, select those notifications. Check that bell for when we go live tomorrow night, where we recap everything that was night 2 of Mania and give up some predictions as far as surprise returns for the night after Mania from Raw, which is arguably the hottest show of the year. And until next time, I'm a Mark, you're a Mark, tell a Mark. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all can catch us around the way.